Charles. Hello, Charles.
Charles, go get my wife, will you? Tell her we'll be late for the concert if she doesn't hurry up.
Charles, could you do something? I don't want to be late for the concert.
Hello, Charles.
Please, don't encourage her, Charles. She's going to go around crushing all the strawberries in our garden now. Thank you, Charles. I didn't know how to get her in.
They're my favorite.
Backlog cabin. KF for blind gamer. Backlog cabin. I think your mic is off. Per blind gamer. Holy shit. Backlog cabin.
Conceivable
I do it that all the time.
that if it were during the update that caused it to restart, it would have been
Backlog cabin.
disconnected again.
I hear you now.
Ah. Thanks, Backlog. Well, that was most frustrating. I think my computer restarted 2 days ago, and I was surprised. It must have
Backlog
been
cabin.
another update.
No prob. What's up? Been playing long?
Not too long, maybe. Probably less than a half hour. We're not that far into the game. But I disabled the, went to the, was it group registry and disabled the update process and stopped it, but I guess Windows turned it back on again? Because every time Windows updates, it, mutes or, disconnects the
cabin.
Blue Yeti in OBS.
Weird defaults.
Yeah, and then it's an easy matter to re-enable it, but I guess I didn't test for the Blue Yeti today, just the game audio. But I appreciate you letting me know. It's better to know now than further into the game. Everybody, please go check out Backlog Cabin, who's an awesome streamer. Streams a whole bunch of different games, a lot of them on original hardware. And as a toad. Last playing politics. Yeah, a lot of people play politics, and some of them get elected to office.
Thanks.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're playing this adventure game from 2001 that's a remake of a shareware, interactive
Backlog
fiction
cabin.
text parser game from '96.
That was my audio surf episode.
Oh, that was your audio surf. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, which was a fun episode. I'm sure you'll get high marks for that one. So, fortunately, we're not too far into the game, and actually, I'd forgotten that Twitch or speech chat was still turned on, so I've got the chat overlay. I can probably turn it off.
Backlog cabin. So what is this about?
Well, basically, we play the servant in a Victorian manor house in the suburbs of London, and one of the groundskeepers approached us about kidnapping the master's daughter and holding her for ransom. And we thought, ha ha ha, that guy's such a joker. What a funny thing to joke about, and then forgot about it. And so on this particular day, it's a wonderful day, and we ask ourselves, what could go wrong? And we go about our duties, help the master and mistress head off to a concert, and put the children to bed. And the next morning, we wake up, and the little girl is brutally murdered. So, since we're the one who discovered her, we assume that we'll be blamed, and sneak her body out of the house and hide it in a seaside cave. And now, I was trying to go back to the house to see if we could find the groundskeeper and ask if this was a kidnapping gone wrong, what's going on, but we were promptly arrested and sent to jail. Sounds great. Yeah. Very dramatic, and the original game, the 96 game, was called The Child Murderer, so like you knew a child was actually going to die. It's not something that happens quite so often. So we'll load a game and we'll continue exploring, see if we can find out what happened and clear our name. Yeah. What a time indeed. I like that they remade it as a point-and-click adventure. It'd probably be a lot, or somewhat more difficult as a, text-based game. A bunch of new locations. Joe the Butcher. Mind, we've never been to any of these bottom 3 before. You're standing before your old friend Joe the Butcher. He runs a small yet well-stocked shop. The smell of dead animals pervades the entire room. How low budget this looks, yeah. I mean, because my understanding is the guy, Michael Zerbo, who's kind of an indie developer, had done like shareware adventure games in the 90s, and then I think in 2001 just decided to remake this one and release it for free. So it's cool that he did, and yeah, even if it is low budget and coded in, I assume, one of those simplistic game creation programs, it's cool that he went to the trouble of doing that and even including voice acting.
If I can.
You tell Joe your story. At first he appears shocked, but eventually he sympathizes with your situation. He offers to help in any way that he can. If you knew where Devlin was. Joe asks if you need help, and you answer that you're okay for now. Yeah, they already suspect us of murder. We've hidden the body in the cave, but we're okay. We're just sort of wandering around. He then rambles on about his business, commenting on meat prices and the quality of his meat. You've known Joe a long time and have learned only one thing for certain. He sure likes meat. Damn it, now I want a hamburger. Joe looks like an honest, trustworthy fellow. But is he? There it is. Lean and tender, Joe's meat is always top-notch. Joe looks at you in an odd way as you stealthily try to reach out and grab a handful of meat. You quickly retract your hand, wondering why you wanted a chunk of meat in the first place, forgetting momentarily that you are a protagonist in an adventure game, and it is therefore your job, nay your duty, to grab everything that is not nailed down for future use. Exactly, Backlog. I'm sure there are some jokes that could be made in here somewhere. Perhaps the developer even intended some. There's a bit of humor in here before Alice died. Although not a religious man, you do feel some comfort at the sight of a church. The thought of religion being the last refuge of the damned crosses your mind, and you realize that if you're not already damned, you're on your way. We did nothing wrong. Maybe they don't mean literally, like in a divine sense, but... You are sitting in the local church. The local church looks like one of the greatest cathedrals in history, but that does not concern you. The service appears to be over, and the congregation is milling about. You rest for a short while by closing your eyes and silently praying for a way out of your predicament. The only exit is to the south.
God will answer your prayers.
You step up to the altar and pray for help. A woman whispers that to you. I seriously doubt it, you say to yourself. They appear to be in their 60s and a pleasant-looking couple.
Oh, you poor dear. You look at the end of your rope. I'll pray for you.
The woman says with a concerned expression, and she hands you a few pence to get a good meal and says she will pray for you. Her husband just sits there and scoffs, probably figuring you are a vagrant looking for a handout, even though you're still wearing the livery of an extremely respected manor house. I don't know. Maybe they didn't actually wear a livery, but it's like one of the higher up servants. You're probably fairly well dressed. So, tavern. You're standing on the street just outside of the inn. You can hear sounds and voices, the type brought on by heavy drinking, emanating from within. Further down the road, you spot a woman selling flowers. Flores para los muertos. Never been to a church that had people talking to one another. Right, backlog. Well, they did say the service was over and people were milling around. I mean, still, you'd think they would go outside before they started talking in earnest, but who knows with these small Victorian churches. I personally wasn't around to attend any of them. Come to that, I did surprisingly little in the late 1800s. Must have been lazy or drunk. Go ahead and save. I didn't ask. How's your weekend going, backlog? Are you working? You've been damned further than I am. You mean in churches or in the Victorian era? I mean, well, I suppose if you count books and plays. I just got home and had dinner. Nice. I'm glad you're done with work for the day. A woman selling flowers smiles at you and asks if you'd like a flower for your sweetheart. You begin to have a conversation with the woman, but all she seems to want to talk about is flowers. You decide to leave her alone. To be honest, she is a rather sickly-looking woman. Perhaps she has consumption.
What you playing at, mister? Trying to steal one of my flowers now? They ought to call a copper on you.
Oops. You hastily put the flower back and smile apologetically at the woman. Flower lady talking about flowers. Right. I mean, kind of like Joe the Butcher talking about meat. You know, after he's done sympathizing with you for being framed for murder and hiding the dead child, he's like, so the price of veal is up. Like, I guess these tradespeople don't think about much other than their trades. Could buy a flower. How much do we have? A few pence.
A pretty flower for your lady friend.
Don't know that we have a lady friend. Right. Well, we were rather attracted to Mrs. Harris, but under the circumstances, I'm not so sure that she would be interested in pursuing anything with us, other than justice. You frequently frequent this tavern on your nights off. A good place to meet people and have a few drinks. What's it called? Yes, describe the sign, but don't tell us what the sign says. Anything else? Hark, an alert. Oh, thank you so much, Backlog. I really appreciate it. For the host. Oh, nice, the host alerts are working again. Apparently, like a friend of mine was hosting me last week and told me, but I never heard the alert. And sometimes I've hosted other people and I don't know if they see it. Oh, thanks. Let's go. Is this the door? Is this the door? Oh, there. You're standing in the local inn. It is stocked with a fine assortment of ales and spirits. The barkeep is currently busy serving his loyal and well-soused customers. To the far right, you notice a rather gaudy woman sitting alone. Buy a drink. Rather keep your senses about you. Sitting before you is a rather garish-looking lady. She is heavily made up and dressed in fancy clothes. She is a young woman with a heavily painted face and vulgar attitude about her. Well, we're rather judgmental, aren't we?
Bugger off. I'm waiting for my gentleman friend.
Ah.
Bugger off. I'm waiting for my gentleman friend.
Picture is nothing like the description. Right, I mean, true, she's a young lady, but I don't know that she's garish or, heavily made up or vulgar attitude. I mean, she may be wearing makeup, possibly lipstick. It's often hard to tell unless someone's wearing, like, theatrical makeup. Or kabuki makeup. I can usually identify that if I see it. You so often see people with kabuki makeup in the local taverns, at least hereabouts. Maybe in Japan it's different. Actors just having finished a show. Yeah, just got back from a kabuki rehearsal. Well, sometimes if you're near a theater, the actors will go to the bar afterwards. I mean, usually they take off their makeup, I think. I don't know. Maybe not. I used to intern at the American Shakespeare Center and sometimes hang out with the actors at the Stonewall Jackson Hotel bar next door. I remember one time the actress playing Dame Pliant in a... God, what was that play? I can't remember. It's one of the rather obscure ones. But her character had blue eyeliner, and she left her eyeliner on when she went to the bar after the show, and told the bartender it was her new look, and did she like it? And the bartender was like, no, it looks trashy. And the actress was like, oh good, that's my character. Anyway. Perfect, yeah. Now, I may not know much about stage makeup, but I know not to wear blue eyeliner generally. I assume. IDK. They have makeup artists for this sort of thing. Joe's still rambling about his meat. Regular flour, nothing special. I think. Perhaps we can give the flower to the lady. And I use the term loosely. I wonder if the developer got his friends dressed up and took pictures of them, or he found stock photos or old photos.
Thanks for the flower. Care to buy me a drink while I'm waiting?
What accent is that? Is she Irish? Leaning towards stock photos? Yeah. I mean, a lot of them do. I mean, they seem to be pretty good quality if it were just somebody taking it for a freeware game. Yeah, probably. Although, I don't know. I can imagine myself trying to go into the local bar and being like, hey, can I take a couple of pictures from this angle? It's for a project. And heck, when I was trying to do welders don't wear evening frocks with combat boots, I essentially did that. And the bar was cool with it, but then they went out of business. Figures.
Thanks. I needed this.
She sips down the ale. Those sound effects very much sound like the sort of thing you would find on, CD-ROMs of 2,000 free sound effects from the, early to mid-2000s. I know because I bought a couple.
If you want anything else, it'll cost you more than a drink. I think you were seeing one of my girls at one time. What do you want him for? You may have known Susan or Natasha. They could know where he's at. You should find them at the Cornwall estate. If you're in some kind of trouble, I know a fellow who might be able to help you. He may be able to get you away from here.
It's so fragmented with her only saying her lines. Okay, so we asked her if she knew about Devlin, the groundskeeper who suggested kidnapping Alice. He was seeing one of his girls. I guess she's a madam. Oh, he owes me some money. She gives you the address. The Cornwall estate. Not to be confused with a Cornwall estate. That sounds like a Geordie accent. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that accent as much. I know I heard a Geordie actor at one point, but I feel like it's not as present in American pop culture as, say, the Cockney accent. The fellow who could help you get you away from here. The captain at the seaport is leaving in a few hours, and it's possible he will let you aboard. Now, what's this? A man. A regular-looking fellow murmuring under his breath about some newspaper headline.
These headlines depress me to no end. I always read my morning papers, but not today. A waste of my good money. These headlines depress me to no end.
Okay.
I always read my morning...
Ah, so we've got Seaport and Cornwall Estate. Alright, 9 character limit. Her name's Jenny and Natasha, or Susan and Natasha. It's a rather large house with well-maintained grounds. She seems to be a rather sad woman. Oh, just because she's dressed in black, she's sad. Such a stereotype. Her attitudes and gestures make her seem nervous and jumpy, as though she's hiding something. She is a nice-looking woman, but appears to be a bit snooty. Quite surprising, as her dress and mannerisms seem rather low-class to you. I don't know how you can tell that dress is at low class, but then I don't have a practiced eye for fashions. It's like in Somewhere in Time, when the guy goes to all the trouble to buy a suit from the right time period, and then he travels back, and the lady says, "I admire you having the boldness to wear a suit that is some 5 years out of date." It's a great movie. All same, yeah. I feel like it's not a thing a lot of people know that much about, other than costume designers.
I thought I told you to leave. I know no one by that name. Leave us alone.
What? You told me. Did I skip some dialogue?
I thought I told you to leave. I know no one by that name. Leave us alone.
So I guess she's saying she doesn't know Devlin. She just looks at you and tilts her head upwards and shrugs you off. The right toffee nose she is. Search gardens. You don't think they would appreciate you rummaging through the gardens? Relatively well maintained. So I'm curious, is this a brothel, or do these two women live together at this house? Who, it's implied they are or were prostitutes? Like, what's their story? Oh, they're gone now. The fresh smell of the sea fills your nostrils and momentarily lifts your spirits. The port is home to several local businesses, fishermen, and modest housing. And one extremely loud bird which you would like to shoot with a shotgun and roast. Damn it, now I want roast partridge. I've never had roast partridge. Which makes me all the more curious. You're standing before the captain of a ship. He is supervising men loading the cargo and seems too busy to bother with you. He is a gruff-looking man who seems very dedicated to his job. It won't be an easy task to get aboard his ship.
No.
You ask the captain if there is room on the ship for another passenger. He looks at you with a squint and simply says,
No.
in a voice so loud it interrupts the waves. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're like dealing with a murdered child here. I should be more serious. I wonder if it's in the morning paper, anything about. Might be the evening paper by now.
These headlines depress me to no end.
No, it's
I
the
always
morning
read my
papers.
morning papers, but not today. A waste of my good money.
Money. I have money.
Sure, if you're the sort that can stomach this sort of news, be my guest.
Hand him the rest of your change. You buy his newspapers from him. He hands you his pile of newspapers, tips his hat, and walks off. So wait, he wasn't a newspaper salesman, he just bought... I guess he bought all the newspapers each day and then decided he didn't want to read them? Oops. You look over the paper, noticing the article about the missing child and a manhunt for the kidnapper. Which would be me. You feel the need to move the child's body to a safer location. Give and spread. Susan and Natasha are not there. They have either left or simply do not wish to see you. You knock on the door, but no one answers. A nice-looking house. So could we bury Alice's body in the garden? Since no one is around, you take the liberty of looking through their gardens. Nothing to be found, however, except for some shrubs and flowers. It might be our best bet. Although I'd think it's pretty safe and, well, I don't know if there's a manhunt. You pick up Alice. She is relatively light, so she is easy to carry about, although carrying her about in broad daylight could pose a problem or two. I should save. I wonder... I don't think there's a beach that close to England. I mean, a beach that close to England. England's got plenty of coastline. I mean, I don't think there's a beach that close to London like that, but I don't know. I did not make a survey of British geography. Yeah, exactly, backlog. That's the hard part. Not Alice.
Hey, not too bright there, son, are you? The tide washed up the body within a few hours. Who ever heard of burying a corpse on a beach anyways?
Later that day you are captured by the police. Newspapers have a field day. Idiot murderer caught. Tide turned in Harris murder case. Those papers love a good joke. And we're back in Newgate. I guess I have to load the game. We can't bury her here. Can't hide her in the driftwood. You carry the dead girl into the carriage to the complete shock of the driver. You are taken to the nearest police court and promptly arrested. Okay, I should have seen that one coming. I mean, I don't know that hiding her in the brush would be safer than the cave. Body disposal 101, right? Don't carry dead bodies around in broad daylight. You drop the body off the cliff into the water. You figure it will never be found. Unfortunately, you are wrong, as the next day it is found by a fisherman. You are hunted down and captured by the police. getting the body out of here that easily. If we showed Joe the newspapers, he would rather not spread the news regarding the missing child. You have enough people looking for you already. There's nothing else here, is there, except her?
Want a good time?
You tell her, perhaps another day. I think it's safe to say she is a lady of the night. Or at least the game wants us to think so. Spread the newspapers.
A flare for your lady. A flare for your lady friend, sir.
He's somewhere else. Oops. I don't think there's anything we can click on here other than... Say we reschedule for Thursday. Cheers, my lady. Exactly, Backlog. We'll have to set up an appointment. Normally, we'd love to take a stroll by the Thames with her, but right now, we have some urgent matters to take care of before rigor mortis sets in. Otherwise... Yeah, we would rather not bother them again. They've been kind enough already. Besides, you figure the old man would take a swipe at you if you approached them for more money. Right. So... Can't access your inventory in the cab. Wake up. Nope. Instant game over. There's not a lot we can do. That'd be risky anyway. He'd probably turn us in. You could try spreading the newspapers and putting her body on them. Combining her body with the newspapers? Oh, that's it. You carefully wrap the dead girl in the... Ah, shoot. the thing is, if you move the cursor away from the text vanishes and can never be seen again. Alice is carefully concealed within several newspapers. You just hope no one looks too closely. And now, I bet we can bury her in the Cornwell estate. You manage to carry Alice into the carriage with no problem. Leaving it is another matter, however. You carefully exit the cab, wondering where you can safely transport this body to. As you move about, Alice begins to unwrap a bit, exposing her arm and legs. The driver sees this and summons the police. You are promptly arrested and brought to the game over screen. So we have to... Can't bury her in the sand. Can't drop her. Open. It's not a very good idea. It was a lot of trouble to wrap her up. It's bad enough carrying about a large bundle inside of newspapers. Carrying about a dead child is even worse. I'm trying to figure out what tone exactly this game is going for. Maybe I should. I will. Yeah, you can't. It hits hard because it is. I mean, a child getting killed is pretty upsetting, but. And a lot of times this game, I mean, a lot of times it just reads kind of like a normal interactive fiction game, and other times it really feels like they're trying to be comic, which I get is kind of. I think that's kind of a style in interactive fiction, because Zork, which was one of like the first big commercial ones, had a really dry sense of humor, and so most of the others kind of kept with that tone. Nope. Take her anywhere?
What have you got for me? A fine gift, perhaps?
Joe asked in an inquisitive voice. Maybe bringing Alice here wasn't such a good idea, you think to yourself. This writer is like, dead bodies, am I right, guys? Yeah, backlog.
No, not quite a gift. I think you'll be rather surprised with what I brought you.
Wait. Are we giving him the body?
No, not quite a gift. I think you'll be rather surprised with what I brought you.
I was thinking she could be butchered. Yeah, that's kind of... I'm wondering if that's what's going on, backlog. Give.
That's not exactly what I was expecting.
Oh, it wasn't, was it, Joe?
What exactly do you propose we do with her?
Joe asks. For someone who cuts up dead animals all day long, Joe appears quite squeamish around dead people. Can't blame him, actually, as you feel a bit nauseous yourself. Click to continue. Yep, they're using those sound effect CDs for all they're worth. I'm sorry. Just these sounds. Oh my god. It's just still going on. Oh, click to continue.
The job is done. Wouldn't eat those if I were you.
Oh no, no, thank you. That's what a laugh riot you are, Joe. After waiting for an hour or so, Joe comes out of the back room. He looks a bit shaken up. A bunch of sausages on a nearby table. I say, Joe, have you ever heard the name Dunderback? I think you two would get on famously. Or love it, perhaps. As in, your food, I sure do love it. Wow, yeah, exactly. Sorry, I am realizing I am dialing up the gallows humor a bit too much. And Joe left. Joe is currently retiring, or resting upstairs. There's the review for this on GameFan. What is GameFan backlog? Is that? Oh, take key. Is that a big like review congregator site? A large silver key. Oh, 90s gaming magazine. Oh, you know that sounds kind of familiar. Probably have heard that title. Yeah, I wonder if they reviewed shareware games. Take sausages. You pick a few sausages and put them in your pocket. Alice is much easier to carry now. Oh my god. It's like I can't tell if this guy's just like a sociopath or kind of ghoulish, or just, I mean, not the writer but the character. I can hear him going, Alice is much easier to carry now. Thank you, Joe. Wondering about what on earth is he going to do with them. The writer is definitely a sociopath, or at least has a bit of a warped sense of humor, which I can admit I often appreciate. I too have been known to have a warped sense of humor. This is like Harvester, right? Yeah, that's a good comparison backlog. I was thinking after watching that girl Joey play it, which is those Harvester certainly did go a bit further. I've got to play that myself someday. I did then buy it on a nice Steam sale, and one of these days I'll get the boxed edition because I'm a collector and I must own every horror game ever made. Might as well save. An ordinary key. Joe must have forgotten about it and left it lying around. Nice. Yeah. I might stream Harvester someday, but there's so many games I want to stream, and it seems like that's one of those ones that have been more rediscovered more of late by people. Keep an eye out for me too. No, thanks. There's so many big box horror games I'd like to have, or just obscure horror games in general. I gotta make a comprehensive spreadsheet of my collection, which I did, but it's a couple years out of date, and still on my old Windows 7 computer. Yeah, not a lot of those you find in thrift stores, although I did find big box copies of Phantasmagoria and Phantasmagoria 2 at a library book sale. That was a good day. There's no need to use it here. I mean, there is no logical reason the key would let us into the Cornwall estate. I keep wanting to say Cornwall, like it's in Cornwall. That's awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. It's always exciting when you find something like that. One of these days I'll do a stream where I go through a chunk of my game collection and tell in agonizing detail how I got each game until everybody tells me to shut up. As I know I'll start going on, well, you know, it could have been mid-06 that I got this one from Big Lots, but I think Big Lots still had some games in 07. And I know I would have been living in this house, but I want to say I got it from this Charlottesville Big Lots, and everyone's just like, shut up and unbox it, you idiot! Like, one does not unbox games. I'm saying, you know, how many people open boxes of baseball cards. Or, you know, open packs of Quest brand Chex Mix and eat them. Yeah. Empty bags are going to be worth a lot less in 20 years than full ones. Mark my words. And for the long haul. Yes. I feel like I do that when people visit, just fact-checking myself about what you know about your stuff. Yeah, that's such a good way to put it. It's for me, a lot of it's, you know, these different objects I've collected have some importance, or at least in my mind. And it's part of, you know, you can't just say, ah, yes, here is a copy of, I don't know, the bloody box edition of The Dark Half. You've got to say, well, here's where this copy came from. I believe its sire and dam were Domark and Signosis. And it passed through North Dakota at some point. But it's kind of like that scene in The Wind in the Willows where the mole rediscovers his home and is giving the rat a tour of it and telling about how, you know, this possession had to be saved for months, and this possession was an unexpected bargain he randomly found. And then taken to the illogical extreme, we get the mixed-up files of Mrs. Basilea Frankweiler. You know, I can see myself writing such files in about 50 years, if I'm rich enough. Harvester is $400. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They really have gone up. I remember, 10 years ago or whatever, seeing it for $127 and being like, ooh, that's a lot. I better wait until I, get a real job with a lot of money or something, or find it cheap. And even now, sometimes I'll see a copy of like Prisoner of Ice or something for $50, and I'm like, that's more than I should spend. Then I'll know, someone else will be selling it for $500. What was I doing? Oh yes, the key. Oh my god, no. No. No, this game is horrible. I don't want to play it anymore. These are what little girls are made of. Sugar and spice and meat. Wow. Yes, amazing and disturbing. Okay, this game's a comedy. I'm glad we've established that. There is no going back at this point. Eat. Yes. Let's eat the dead body we just went to all this trouble to hide. My god. No one wants them. What if they didn't know the... I mean, there's plenty of, folk horror stories and urban legends about, not knowing what's in the meat. Sawney beans, fresh cooked sausages. I know, right? What little girls are made of. Oh god. Yep, definitely this game was aimed at adults. Or at least teenagers. Wait, did it? You carefully put the heavy key into the lock and turn. You hear a small click. You are shocked when you enter the back of the butcher's shop. The sight of dead animals and rotting meat makes you want to vomit. Take heads. Why not? You pick up 2 of the cleanest animal heads. God only knows what you'll need them for, but if the occasion arises, you will be prepared. What occasion This game. I feel like at this point it's progressing the school of thought of just take everything and it'll be useful eventually. Prepared. Be prepared for the death of the king. Why, is he sick? No, fool, we're going to feed him pig heads from Joe's butcher shop. That will teach him, and then maybe some sausages made from the corpse of little Alice Harris. And then he'll die, right? No king, la 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 la. Yeah. How Disney movies should go. Yep, those are animal heads, all right. No doubt about that. Just liver alone already. Oh my god. Good one, Backlog. I gotta say, if we keep making jokes about the fate of Alice, it's gonna get awful. And I'm not spelling that with an AW. The captain has the weirdest pockets. Oh no, you mean the protagonist. Right, I mean, Charles. It's entirely possible he's just carrying them around, one under each arm. This is Victorian times, you know. Butchers had to carry their wares, although I don't know that call those wares exactly. There's no great demand for assorted animal heads. Better hold on to them for now. If you run across any headless animals, you'll be prepared, though. Headless animals, I made. It's like, now we get Manny the Headless Man Horse. And they just let us walk in here with them. Let's see if the Geordie prostitute likes the severed, rotting heads of animals. Because what else are you gonna do? Wait, talk to? Don't expect them to answer back. Saving. We can wear them like masks. Yes, I feel like that's... I'm sure that's been used in fiction somewhere, Backlog. Like, but we don't have masks. Well, let's just put on dead animal heads. Why not? I should actually save. Yeah, still an instant game over. I don't know, I had some ill-conceived plan that I hadn't really fleshed out about going back to find Harold. the family dog. Okay, I know I'm a horrible person, and I figure the game won't allow this, but I just want to see what it says. You must be joking. Yes, I suppose I am. Thank you, game, for not going there. I won't say you've restored my faith in humanity, but at least you have... I was going to say good taste, but under the circumstances, I don't think I shall. Drop them here. You lay the animal heads next to her door. You hope it will be threatening enough to scare them into giving you the information you need. You also can't decide whether you're discussing a woman singular or a woman plural. But you have more pressing matters on your mind, such as finding Devlin and knowing if he didn't kill Alice, who did and why. Oh, the well-dressed ladies are back.
Yes, I remember Jim. We'd been going together a while back. I broke it off when he told me his, plans. Last I know, he was down at the seaport.
Huh. His address. Like, this all happened today, right? So, did he get an... Emily probably had another address to hide out in while he was waiting for the ransom money before the kidnapping went wrong. I assume that's what happened. What is Natasha holding? Is that... No, I think she's holding a bunch of flowers, and that's just... That's not a cane, that's just a line or a fold in her dress. Or that's Susan, excuse me. Natasha's the snooty one. Aha.
Don't get involved here. Move on, son.
But sitting outside the building is an old man with his dog. He refuses to move. His dog backs up his threat with several growls aimed in your direction. Aw, pet dog. The dog barks and snips at your hand. Luckily, you pull it back in time. You quickly realize that this is not the friendliest dog you have ever met. He appears to be a decent-looking dog. A bit hungry, as well as very protective of his master. Normal old man. Why he is sitting in front of Jim Devlin's home is another question. Perhaps he is just a loon and just very protective of this spot, or more likely, Jim paid him to keep strangers away. Hungry, oh no, yes. We're on the same wavelength at this point, backlog. Walk by, man. Walk on by.
Now, I don't want to brain you, but if you don't back up, you'll get it.
Oh. Well. We can take him. Oh, no, wait, this is an adventure game. We can't. Oh, hello, Purpsel. How are you doing today? Thanks for coming by. Everybody, please go check out Purpsel. Who's a good friend of mine and a VTuber who just made affiliate. Congratulations, Purpsel. You're still playing Resident Evil 7, yeah. And then you can play every other Resident Evil game ever made. Yes, my pleasure. And I hope you're having a good weekend, Purpsel. We're just playing this extremely surprising little indie adventure game that's a remake of a DOS shareware text game We've found, it's the Victorian times. We found a dead 5-year-old. We hid her body because we thought we might be blamed. Then we ground her body up into sausages and we're carting them around with us. And we look at them and say, this is what little girls are made of. Alice is much easier to carry now. We're a delightful person. And now we're trying to get to the groundskeeper who we think killed her in a kidnapping gone wrong. And since the game tells us the dog is hungry, I'm scared. Yes, this has been one of the more surprising games, though I think we can safely say at this point it is a comedy. Let's give a dead 5-year-old to this hungry dog so he'll let us pass. Oh, it actually allowed that. Hidden gem, right. You throw a few sausages to the dog. He gulps them down within a few seconds. You think twice about approaching the animal, as he seems to like the taste of humans. Not holding anything of importance. No, puppy's still in a bit of a mood. I mean, we could try getting more meat from Joe the butcher. There. You reach out and grab a nice slab of meat. You place the dripping chunk into your pocket, because you already used up all your newspapers. And after carrying around those severed animal heads, nobody's going to question the smell of a raw chop. This is fine. Everything's fine. Right, backlog. Imagine that dog saying that. Alright, seaport.
Don't get involved here. Move on, son.
Cook? You reach into your pocket and look for a stove. Nope, none there. You'll have to make do with raw meat. Make do with raw meat. I don't know if that's a joke or a mistake. Anyway, let's see if the old pup is still hungry. Why, yes. You warily extend the meat, and this time the dog jumps up and grabs it out of your hand. You imagine the sausages must have whetted his appetite. He begins to run down the road with the meat hanging from his mouth. The old man follows him in a vain attempt to catch him. You first assume he is chasing the dog, but on second thought, he may just be chasing after that meat. Okay, yeah, I mean, he's paid to keep us away, we think, but he sees his dog with one slab of raw meat, and he's like, dinner! You come back here, Fido. That's half mine by rights. And there's Jim Devlin himself. You walk up to the building where Devlin lives. You knock several times on the door without an answer, but you do hear several loud noises inside. As if someone was moving about. You steady your nerves and brace your shoulder as you run full speed at the door. The lock breaks easily, and the door flings wide open. You see Jim Devlin inside, the madman who set you up. How'd he set us up? He couldn't have known that we would be the one to find the body. Here you are, face to face, and he doesn't look too pleased to meet you. His first reaction is surprise, then anger. He grabs a small revolver and begins to aim in your direction. You quickly unleash a blow to his eye and try to grab the gun. In the skirmish, the gun goes off right into Jim's chest. He slumps to the ground, quite dead. You are now officially a murderer, like the title of the game. You manage to regain your senses, deciding to make the murder look like a suicide. Searching Jim's body turns up a gold coin, but nothing else. You take the coin, figuring it would look better for Jim to commit suicide as a pauper. You place the revolver in Jim's hand. Exactly, guys. He said the thing, right? You place the revolver in Jim's hand and straighten up the room. Several notes and scraps of paper are visible nearby, one referring to a ransom demand. You place the papers in an easy-to-spot location for the police and quickly leave the room. I guess it was a kidnapping gone wrong then? How wrong that could have gone, like if she was mutilated. It's the gold coin. It is a sovereign. You know what else is a sovereign? This is a sovereign. Yeah. I brought this out during my 39-step stream, and I still have it. I gotta send it to someone. Modern sovereign. Not a solid gold Victorian one.
I told you no. You won't be able to buy your way onto my ship. Now get out of my way.
Huh. I think they're still looking for us. And Joe is still upstairs. Where do we go? We could try bribing the Geordie prostitute for help. Heavily made up.
Very nice. So you decided to have a bit of fun after all. She should be able to handle them for you.
No, not for
Good
me.
luck.
The captain and how you need to get aboard the ship. She gives you the address and the name of a girl to see. And it kind of implied earlier that she was a madam as well as a prostitute. Wait, did she say where?
Want a good time?
No. Is it the seaport? Maybe? At least there aren't too many locations in this game. Best not to return to the scene of the crime. Ah, there.
I'll keep him occupied. Don't you worry.
I think you're right, Backlog. I think these are stock photos. You find the girl and explain to her what you need done. She agrees and manages to distract the captain long enough for you to sneak on board. You find a nice empty cabin and settle down for a long trip. You have managed to evade the authorities while also taking revenge on Jim Devlin. You are headed to America and safety. No, 2003. Excuse me, I don't know where I got 2001 from. Oh, it just restarts. Well, that was that was a game. I always like it when the horror game, and I guess this was more mystery than horror, when it surprises me, and it definitely did. I'm surprised that quote about the sausages has not appeared on any IGN lists of the top 100 quotes in video gaming history. I'm never eating sausages again. But that... yeah, it managed to shock a couple of times, and it managed to make me laugh a few times. The traditional interactive fiction humor. Yeah, no, it's pretty good as a freeware game, especially the remake with the increased production values. I don't know that I would have enjoyed it as much as, like, in the original shareware version of the game, if it was just text parser and no pictures. And I also kind of like that in the remake it was just called the murderer, not the child murderer, so it didn't give away that element of the plot, and also you become the murderer in the end. Moving on to our second game of the day, which should be a good bit shorter. I'm just going to update the stream information, creating a new chapter. This is a game called Contempt, which is only a couple years old. And it's, I don't know much about it other than that it was someone's school project and set in a haunted house, and it looks quite interesting. There. Quite a different, I assume a different tone, certainly a different style. And I think sometimes that's fun for Short Horror Saturday. Play two games that are different in style, like an adventure game and a action game, or a first-person adventure and a point-and-click adventure. Oops. And hopefully this isn't going to crash my stream. It's one of those beefy, GPU-intensive Unreal Engine games. Actually, hold on. I'm just going to see if I can reduce the smoothing in zoom text even more, and I just turn back on the text-to-speech, because then hopefully it'll save a little more processing power if I'm not using the chat overlay. It's crazy, some of these games, even if there's nothing else running, they're like, using up 99% of your GPU. And I'm like, my computer's 1 year old. Couldn't you have optimized slightly differently something? I don't know game computer stuff. There we go, text-to-speech and Contemp. Unreal Engine 4. Does that look good here? Imagine there will be a few more jump scares. A little less cannibalism. Okay. Oh, this game has VR support too. I, however, do not have VR. It looks pretty awesome though. just going to turn down a few things. The graphics do look good, don't get me wrong. Okay. Very standard controls. I hear wind chimes somewhere. Oh, I guess it's locked. I was wondering for a moment if it was one of those things like Layers of Fear where you have to use the mouse to grab and hold and pull it to unlock it. Oh, you have a flashlight. Let's leave it on. We can't do much exploring. Supposed to go into the house. I make it all the way through the other game, and I can't even seem to find the key to get into the house. Wait, is that it? No, that's just something on the boards. Hold on, that's still. Ah, that's better. Oh yeah, and for this back seating is allowed. Let me know if anyone sees a key or the cursor changed to something I can interact with. Is that? Oh, just the doorbell, I suppose. Can't get something out of our car. But by all means, let's leave the headlights on. Make sure that battery's drained. Oh. Tool shed. There's a key. You can't run in this game at all. What's that? I don't think we're supposed to read that newspaper. I wish the flashlight were, no, the light were emanating from a slightly higher point. Well, certainly is a mess. Somebody left rather in a hurry. Plates are placed very interestingly. Almost as though they were strewn in these positions on purpose. Heard something. Door or something open. Let's see. Anywhere. So like extension cords. Huh. Bathroom. Is there a key hidden in the sink or toilet? A picture. Something in the tub, I can't tell what. Thought I saw a cockroach scurrying. Oh, I did. Yep. Nice touch, because then for a second I was like, are my eyes playing tricks on me? I didn't turn off my flashlight, it did automatically. And it's not working. Wait, that... It wasn't where we were. Creepy. Oh wow, those are moths. Oh, now we can go up here. Whether the house or the entity in the house allows us to.
There's an aching deep inside that no longer I can hide, and it's telling me once more it's time to roam. But I cannot tell the now becoming home.
I wonder if that's a real poem or something the developer made up.
See, there's the North Star guiding me, and a light on the horizon showing where I long to be. I travel on.
Huh. Another tape player. It's hard to tell where the noises are coming from. Which is nice, it keeps you wondering where things are. Oh, my flashlight's working again. The camera seems to be doing a slight sort of forwards and backwards motion. I guess just to give you the feeling that you're not entirely steady, just like a real person moving slightly. This game is a lot more like PD than your average horror game, like of this style. The way these extension cords running through the house makes me wonder if they're set up this way in some way. I wonder what time period this house was supposed to like be abandoned in. this is the same room. Yes. There's that tape player again. I think it's a radio.
Backlog cabin.
Huh.
Is Contemp related to murderer?
No, it was just another random game. I know once I described Murderer as a short story, and so I figured it wouldn't be really long, so I would try and find one other short horror game to play, you know. I think that may be a good strategy for short horror Saturdays, is plan some days to do a double feature of things that I think are going to be less than an hour
Backlog
each.
cabin. Gotcha.
Yeah, so just a random modern horror game that I saw a reference to and looked like it might be good. And it specifically said it was, you know, 10-minute or so playtime. There's a tape. We can take the book, but maybe that we can't interact with it. Beyond that, let me make sure. Alright, just E, mouse click. TV. And a VCR. Is that one of those old top-loading VCRs? Or actually, I don't know, that cassette looks small. I mean, not small enough for a 8mm cassette. Oh. Oh, okay, so they are VHS cassettes.
Parts of your body broken. Now, I've never tried it myself. You may be surprised to hear that, but I'm told it's not easy to spin around on your head. And health professionals say it may not be safe either. And seeing some injuries.
Very oddly specific. Almost as though something is threatening us. But I did like that. It really looked like a, yeah, earlier mid-80s VHS company logo. I guess later than that, too. Hey, at least we can't get stuck in and crushed by doors in this game. Oh, we're back in the kitchen. That was the door that was previously locked. Wait, we did see a telephone. Is it on this floor? Oh, I guess we can go by the sound. Yeah. We missed it. guess I got slightly turned around. I think the telephone was on the second or third floor. There it is. Hello, Jerry. I'm still waiting for Mr. Electrician to come here. The lights have been behaving very strangely. Michael, you're probably going crazy. You know I was arrested for real estate fraud 30 years ago. I did not know that, Jerry. How am I going to finish my book now? Yeah, basically now, every haunted house makes me think of scratches. As long as there's a telephone there. And a stethoscope. Have we been through here? No. Oh. I just closed the door. Back in that singular closet. Oh, an attic. Our flashlight's dead again. I can't tell what that is. Might be a person. This definitely looks like it's supposed to be hidden. There's something there. Oof. Sound effects. Was that it? Oh, maybe that's it. You meet the monster and get killed? I don't know. Starts trailer. Trailer for a larger project? More like an attract demo? It's just like scenes from the house. Waiting for the jump scare, waiting for the jump scare. guess it's just to show off the graphics. I would categorize this more as a slideshow than a trailer. A record player, I didn't see that. I may have wandered past it though. Strange. Is that? Ah, there we are. That was that woman or creature, whatever it was we saw in the attic room. Maybe that's all there is to the game. If we start it again, I assume it'll just take us back to the beginning. Yeah. Oh well. Maybe that is all there is to it. I was hoping for a little more, and you know, it has a short playtime. That's nothing more than you meet a monster and you die. Still, while it lasted, it had some good points. I mean, it definitely had an eerie atmosphere with some pretty good sound design, and like I said, a lot of, I call it production design. I don't know, set dressing. Yeah, not as exciting as I'd hoped for, but not bad. Not bad for a solo school project, although I must say I enjoyed Bleed Off a bit more, even though that was a different type of horror game. So, yes, that's pretty much wraps it up for today. I'm glad we got to play through The Murderer, which was not quite what I expected, and certainly more fun than I expected. I figure that's part of the fun of trying these obscure short games. Sometimes they're just kind of okay, and sometimes they turn out to be surprisingly memorable, and yeah, like comparable to Harvester in short game form. Yeah, before we go raid somebody, I'll tell you just a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Purblind Gamer. I'm a variety/retro streamer who has an interest in horror but plays a whole bunch of different games. I stream Sunday evenings, Saturday late afternoons, and then I had been streaming Wednesday evenings, but I may change that to Tuesdays, just because of work schedule and stuff. And tomorrow we're going to continue Sam and Max, Season 1 / Sam and Max Save the World, which is hilarious. And then for the Tuesday stream, I might try and finish Call of Duty 4, or I might try and play a different game. Something more suited to the number of the stream. Yes, I'll have to figure that out. And then next Saturday for Short Horror Saturday, I haven't decided. I did promise I was going to play that audio-only game, Terror Tracks, that was only released on audio CD. But then I thought that might go better as a double feature with something else, so I don't know whether I'll play that next Saturday or not. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody who came and chatted or lurked or just hung out. It means a lot to me. Feel free to follow if you haven't, and also to follow my Twitter, which I started, I guess, only a month ago and occasionally use. But I would really love it if you could all stick around whilst we find somebody to raid. I'll see who's online. Oh, Alex is still online? Oh, he's hosting. Yeah, let's go ahead and raid Surfins. I know a lot of you guys probably know him. He hangs out here, and I think we've raided him before. But he's a really friendly and supportive guy. And his streams are a lot of fun. He does retro games especially, and today he's playing Deep Rock Galactic, and I have no idea what that is. It's kind of like one of those like late 90s cheaper space-themed games. Did it work? Ah, yes, it worked. Sometimes OBS is being slow, especially after you've just run a game that consumes 97% of your GPU. Well, those graphics do look pretty good. Oh, again, thank you all for coming to Short Horror Saturday. It means a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed getting a look at Contemp and experiencing the shock and humor that was The Murderer. Maybe I should look up some of Michael Zerbo's other like horror-themed games or mystery games from the 90s and have a go at playing one or two of those. See if they can meet the same level of gallows humor. But once again, my name is Purblind Gamer, and I hope I'll see you all here again. And yeah, please stick around and say hi to Surfins. And just remember, sausages. They're what little girls are made of. I'm not a horrible person. That's what the game said. Hey, that game. Ghoulish. What's wrong with? Oh my.